So, TourBox just did something great. They finally made an updated version of their device to now be compatible with the iPad. Many of you that watch me will already be familiar with this device, as I have been a long-time user of it, with 2 videos on previous versions on my channel. But if you didn't know, this is the TourBox Elite Plus, the latest model from TourBox. It's a controller designed to aid digital creators with their work by helping speed up their creative workflow. What makes this version so special to me is that it supports iPad, and I have been hoping for this update since they first included Bluetooth with their Elites. So when they reached out to me and sent me this model, I was overjoyed. This video is kindly sponsored by them, but of course I'll be giving my own honest opinions. So to start, in the box you have the TourBox controller with batteries already installed, love that, the quick start guide and safety instructions. Separately, they sent me the travel storage case and a USB-C cable. You do not need the cable for the iPad. The controller only supports Bluetooth connection for the iPad. For your PC, however, you can use Bluetooth or the cable. Setting it up is very easy. Download the TourBox driver or app and follow the instructions given. I'll be focusing on the iPad experience. You can get the app in the App Store. Launching the TourBox console, there are presets readily available. I'm working with Procreate, so that's what I chose. It may seem a bit overwhelming at first seeing the layout and all the possible customizations to make, but it's really not that difficult once you actually start individually programming it the way you want. So how does this controller help me draw faster? Well, it has programmable keys, which I have filled out with my most used actions. But you can do the same thing with a regular keyboard or a different tool, so why this tool specifically? Because its design is so ergonomic, created for single-handed use. It is incredibly practical. It's heavy too, so no chance of it slipping or sliding around on your desk, and genuinely feels so good to use. Not only does it have buttons like most other devices, it has a dial, scroll wheel, and a knob. Doesn't it just make sense to, for example, zoom in and out with a scroll than to rapidly spam a button, or to use either the dial or knob to rotate your canvas? Having my physical movement mimic the in-app actions when I'm drawing is so incredibly satisfying and feels natural. Many of these keys also have different textures on them, as well as also being shaped differently. An issue I had with using previous keyboard alternatives long-term was that all the keys were identical in shape, bar 1 or 2, and equally spaced out on the pad, and I found myself constantly breaking eye contact with my art to locate a specific key. With TourBox, I'm able to have my eyes glued to the screen as I can recognize each button by touch. So you can really easily, without looking at the controller, navigate and know which is which. It also has a button on the side. Again, the ergonomics, the way your hand rests. If you're using your left hand on the device, it naturally reaches the side and it's kind of shaped to just be held in a hand in a very ergonomic way. My drawing hand gets to stay on the artwork 99% of the time doing the creative work, while my left hand is taking care of all the technical navigational bits. Procreate is already very finger gesture focused, but the TourBox does make a noticeable difference for me. It just helps to cut down on unnecessary time just switching tools and trying to navigate your drawing program, even if just by a few seconds. Every second counts when I'm working. A really cool feature that the TourBox has is haptics, and what that is basically sounds that occur when using the wheel, the scroll, or the knob, seeing as they don't naturally make any sound when using them, unlike the buttons that you can click, click, click. It's a great addition for those who like to have a sound present when using those mentioned keys. But if you're not personally a fan of it, there is an option within the console to turn down the sound or to switch it off completely. I thought I'd show you how I have it set up for my iPad. I tried to replicate it as much as I could to what I have it set for when I'm drawing on my drawing tablet with Clip Studio Paint. So here, zoom in, zoom out. This would be my rotating my canvas. This is my eraser. And then here is my pencil brush. This is for the brush size. This is the lasso tool. This is the transform tool. This is undo. And this is redo. Here on my desktop, I have this set to flipping my view horizontally, but Procreate doesn't have that. It only has the option to flip your canvas horizontally. It doesn't seem to also have like, what is it? A command key for it. Or maybe I don't know how to program it, but I just have this trigger to like bring up this little menu, which then I click that. So yeah. And then this on my desktop, it would be a hand tool, but there is no hand tool. You have to use your hands because it's touchscreen. So I just have it set to colors. I wish they had one set up for the color dropper tool. I tried checking in the console and I couldn't figure it out. Like, these are the main ones for me: zooming in, brush control, undo, redo, and rotating my canvas. Those are the ones I use pretty frequently. Up here, this is just copied layer, and this is to cut. So that just cuts everything. I just love how I can get them to essentially kind of twin each other. When I'm switching over from my desktop to my iPad or vice versa, it's the majority of it is the same, and it just flows really seamless. Like I mentioned earlier, the TourBox console comes with some presets already for other apps. I tried out Clip Studio on the iPad and created my own configurations, basically identical to my desktop, which is where I use Clip Studio strictly. Side note, it would be so handy if they had it where you were able to directly transfer to download your own TourBox setup from your desktop to the iPad and vice versa, but anyway. A huge reason I refused to buy Clip Studio Paint on my iPad was because of how tricky I found it to access shortcuts on it. I know there's a feature where you can pull out a panel with all the, is it T1s and T2s, but I didn't really like how that felt. It just wasn't working for me. I remember thinking if the TourBox was available for iPad, that would be a more realistic conversation for myself on whether or not to purchase it on my iPad. So I opened up the Clip app. It's free version, so it's just like doodle mode. I can't save anything. Regardless, I opened it up and immediately started drawing, doodling, sketching, just testing out how it feels to be on the iPad with Clip when I'm so used to it on my drawing tablet or my laptop. And so that was really cool. It's still up in the air whether or not I'll buy it on the iPad. I think it's a subscription. Anyway, it works great. You know, the TourBox, it's performing as I expected it to, very smoothly. It works. I don't know what else to say. I still prefer to draw on Procreate for my iPad. That's just how it's always been for me. But for those who use Clip Studio Paint as their main drawing program on their iPad, this tool is definitely something that I would recommend for you to check out. It just really helps speed up the process massively. And like I said before, Procreate is pretty gesture heavy, but like I also said, every second counts. A combination that I really like that I've set up on here is that I've programmed this key and this key simultaneously when pressed to trigger the screenshot function on the iPad, like so. I think that's really handy because I don't have a Clip Studio Paint bot on here, so if I do something, I can just screenshot it and save it that way. So after saying all that, here are the simplified pros and cons for the TourBox Elite Plus. Number 1, iPad compatibility, duh. Number 2, the dual Bluetooth connection for both iPads and computers. Number 3, it's comfortable and easy to use. Number 4, you can create multiple combos. And number 5, it's really cool looking on your desk. Now for cons. Number 1, the price. Purchasing this is an investment. It's pricey, but for as long as I've been using a TourBox device, I haven't been let down by its performance. It's reliable, versatile, and convenient, and they do release software updates to keep things working smoothly. Not to mention, they do have sales here and there, so you can save a little bit of money. Another con I would put in there would be that it seems to be marketed towards right-handed users. If you're left-handed, you might find that you'd have to experiment with different rotations, different orientations of the controller to find what best works for you. These next two cons are really just a nitpick, but I thought that I would mention them anyway. So, number 3, I noticed that when sizing up or down my brush or eraser, the sizes would jump a bit towards the end. Quite a noticeable jump. In the TourBox console, there is a section to control the sizes in different increments, but each results have the same jump. And number 4, occasionally, another thing I experienced was the brush size indicator blinking whenever I made a mark. It seemed to only occur for brushes that I had a saved size. Super easy fix, just remove and resave that size. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my review. I get so much use out of my TourBox, and I find it really hard to imagine a future where I'm not using it. I'm simply too attached. Such a convenient device, and I highly recommend it. I'll leave some more information about the TourBox Elite Plus in my description. And yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!